Hari Om, Hello, Namaskara. I hope all of you guys know me. Anyway, I'll introduce myself first. I think people who know me, people who don't know me, I am Subbu Chris. I am 52, and I have been learning yoga because I don't want to use the term practicing because I think it needs, in my opinion, that I should have been, you know, performing yoga asanas at least for 10 12 years to say myself as a practitioner or I'm practicing yoga. So I'm going to use the word learning because I'm still learning. I'm still learning on a day-to-day basis, and I'm learning a lot of new things and trying to kind of perfect the things that I've learned as much as possible. So I would want to say learning, right? Okay, so I've been thinking of you know giving this video for some time, but so my apologies for delay in sharing my thoughts with you all. And I want to thank Lakshmi ma'am for providing me an opportunity to share my thoughts with you all. I hope you guys like this video. I don't want to keep it like a sermon at the same time, but I thought it is important for me to speak up my experience of learning yoga for the last 3 years and what do I see the very important things that for people who join newly or people who have been practicing along with me in this batch. I thought I'll just share my views, and probably you can also take it as a request from my side for those who wants to kind of pursue yoga, right? So I will try to keep this video as short as possible, between 5 to 10 minutes. I understand that in the world of TikTok and Instagram, video which is going to be beyond a couple of minutes, people are not going to have any interest to listen to it, and hence I wanted to keep it as short as possible, right? Okay, so how did I stumble upon yoga, right? That itself is a big thing, right? Because some of you, I think I've shared in the past that I used to be a gym goer. I was doing gym before the pandemic started for about 5 or 6 years. So I was very what do you say, consistently hitting the gym to kind of to keep myself fit and healthy, right? So then this pandemic happened, so I didn't know what to do, and I was a little bit worried about how do I keep myself you know keep myself fit. And then I got introduced to Lakshmi ma'am through my sister-in-law, and I just took 3 days of trial class to see how what is yoga is all about, and whether I'm going to be really interested in pursuing that, right? So I didn't have too much of hope when I started, to be honest, because this I accidentally stumbled upon yoga. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just give a shot. So I took three trial classes with ma'am, and I think the rest is just the history. That's what I think. I think I just fell in love with the yoga for many reasons, right? Because since I went to gym for a long period of time, I could really relate and realize that how yoga is different from the gym, right? So when you are going to a gym, the gym is all about keeping yourself physically fit, right? So because all you do is in the gym is just pick up some weight, and then to ensure that you build some strength in your body and the muscles and stuff. So like anybody else, I wanted to be a muscled and chiseled guy, so hence I was doing gym. So it is pretty much a routine job, right? On a 5 days a week, and you get up in the morning and go and do. But one of the things that obviously you start building muscles over a period of time, but what did happen also that I realized is that as you put more weight and start building the strength in your body, your body gets tight as the muscles gets tight, which kind of reduces your flexibility and agility at some point in time. Because even if you wanted to bend forward, take your hands backwards, it is not it is not really possible, because you have to really struggle, kind of, keep yourself flexible, even when sometimes when you just accidentally bend forward or backward or whatever it is, right? Suddenly you catch up some spasms in the body, and that takes few days to kind of go off. Till then you cannot really kind of do anything, because even when you breathe, the spasm used to kind of pain your body. So that was the flip side that I would say. And secondly, that the gym is only focused on physical body. But I think what is happened is, post pandemic, I think everybody has realized that being fit, it doesn't mean that it has to be only with the physical aspects of your life, right? I think the pandemic has really shaken up us and kind of turned our life tips and turvy. So I think it is very important for us not only to be focusing on the physical aspects of the body, but it's also important in today's context that the mental well-being is as much important as the physical well-being. Unfortunately, not many of us kind of really focused on the mental health until the pandemic hit, and then really shaken all of us up about. So we do see like people having a lot of issues during the pandemic, right? So I think in that way, I think I would thank that the pandemic happened for myself personally, because it is a blessing in disguise for me to have found a new dimension in life, which is kind of yoga. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just keep this video to two sections. One is I just want to talk about how did yoga transform me, right? That's the first part of it. Second part of it is I want to share some experience as to those who have been practicing, and also those who came in, joined newly, what yoga means to each one of you would be. I mean, what I think from personally, what did I follow as a principle to kind of, in the last 3 years of time. So these are the two things that I wanted to talk about, right? So on the first part of it, how did it transform me, right? Obviously, as I said, that on the physical side of things, apart from gaining strength and fitness, what did yoga bring to me is a great amount of flexibility. I've shed some weight, and also the agility, right? I think that's more and more important, because I don't even have to think about twice before bending or backwards or anything. I don't even get any kind of spasms or anything. So I think as we age, it's very important to be flexible and agile, and that's one of the things. And it also improved my posture and the fitness levels. I can see that physically, right? And as I said, when I used to do gym, right, and the many days I used to feel very tired after gym. So throughout the day, the tiredness stays with you. But on the contrary, whenever I do yoga, I only feel energized, and then throughout the day I feel really, really energetic about even till 10 o'clock in the night. I don't feel even a bit of tiredness in my body. I think that's the major physical change that I noticed. And internally also, there's a lot of difference that I could see. That I myself being a victim of COVID twice within the span of 8 months time, but I did believe the amount of strength that I gained and the immunity that the yoga brought to me, and through this techniques of pranayama that we practice, I did have very strong lungs. I didn't even realize that I was infected twice, because I didn't have any kind of symptoms, including cough or cold or any kind of breathing difficulties. It was just like a flu, so I had to just isolate just for the sake of it. So that's the intrinsic benefit that we get. Apart from that, I did see that there's a lot of health parameters that has changed drastically, which is improved. For example, that even though my bad cholesterol is always used to be low, but I never had a good cholesterol. I did notice after performing yoga for 3 years, for the first time, my good cholesterol has gone up really to the highest level. So I could feel that change, right? So these are things that people may not realize it, but I think you start kind of observing this, then you realize what kind of benefit it gives, right? And on the mental well-being, definitely there's a lot of changes in me. I'm more calmer now, and I'm able to control my temper pretty well. Maybe I'm like kind of, unless it's really extreme situation, I don't really kind of lose any temper. Even if I have some kind of a temper, all I do is just sit quiet, and then I perform 12 to 20 pranayamas. All that is just cools down me pretty quickly, right? And what it also has given me is that, improved focus and concentration at my whatever I do, and the clarity of thoughts, right? So I can clearly see there's a lot of difference, right? So that's what I observe. So that's the benefit that I got out of it. On the second part of this is more about a request to most of you guys, because I did myself and Lakshmi used to talk a lot about in the last few years of time how people have been suffering from the post-pandemic shock, which includes a lot of depression, stress related disorders, and so on and so forth, and most of the mental and rather than the physical aspects of it. And then hence we used to discuss how to be kind of help people to kind of come out of certain aspects of those things. And definitely I would say that yoga is definitely one of the best holistical, I wouldn't call it as an exercise, with holistical lifestyle change that anybody can make easily to kind of get rid of certain things. There's the studies in US has proved that the continuous meditation and practicing of yoga has brought a lot of stress in control, your blood pressure in control, and so on and so forth. I think that's so is definitely that will benefit a lot of people. So it's very important. We live in a very toxic environment where the lifestyle has changed so much, and it is very important for each one of us to kind of focus on our not only the physical body but also the mental part of it. So my thing is that, as I mentioned before, those who have been doing it, who wants to do practice yoga, there are three principles that I would like to I operate myself as, which I mentioned in the group. One is the passion, the passions, and the practice. I just called it as a 3 P's of success, right? Because it is very important. There is no thumb rule in this, but I think it's important that everybody needs to have a passion, right? Forget about yoga. Whatever work you undertake, whatever stuff that you do, whether you do it at home or do it at work, without passion, I don't think so you can fully dedicate yourself into doing anything, right? They say that you have to put your heart out there to kind of perform that. And the passion is the only way that you can create some amount of interest and sense of belonging, right? The passion creates a lot of sense of belonging to oneself. So it's important that we have a passion in what we do. That's why people say do what you love and love what you do. So that's very much important, right? The second part of it is once the passion is out there, I think the next thing is the patience, right? Why the patience is important? I think for us to kind of to achieve anything, I think it's important that we be patient about a lot of things, a lot of times, because I believe patience gives you the capacity to accept or tolerate problems without being annoyed and anxious about the results, and that kind of gives you a lot of perseverance over a period of time. So I think the patience is very important for us to be successful, or I wouldn't say successful, for us to kind of reach a destination or a goal or whatever it is, right? Then the final thing is that I want to say is about the practice. Why practice is important, right? Yeah, as the old saying goes, the practice makes a person perfect. I don't say the old saying which says the practice makes the man perfect, but I don't want to sound misogynist in here, so I just want to say that practice makes a person perfect, right? I think we don't want we are not striving to be perfect, but as I said that nobody can be perfect. But what we are trying to say is by practicing consistently, one can acquire or maintain proficiency in it. That's what I believe. So it is a very very important practice, because like any of you, when I started yoga, I couldn't do most of the asanas, right? So that doesn't mean that I just give up, right? So by continuously practicing on a consistent basis, one can achieve anything. That's what my basic belief. And I did see that happening, right? It's when you bend forward to touch your knees, it was not possible for me in the first year or so. But later on you start learning, and you start practicing, then you figure it out, and automatically your body starts flexing. Then you kind of achieve it, right? Then you feel really great about it, right? But without the practice, I don't think so you can do anything. So practicing is important. At the same time, practicing uh, consistently is also important for us. I think that's one of the things that I wanted to reiterate here. See, it is important. I understand that a lot of people have commitments. I think people who are married, people who have kids, you have in the morning time is a little bit tough and difficult to kind of adjust yourself to kind of be available at the 7 o'clock. And I do understand and I do appreciate that a lot of you guys are still able to make up that time and then still come and practice. But I think at some point in time, at least as far as the health is concerned, each one of you, I believe that we should be selfish a bit, and you should definitely have something called the me time, and that me time should never be compromised, right? Well, when I'm in a session in the morning, as much as possible, I don't try to kind of divert or defocus my attention outside of the practice, whether be it mobile calls, or kind of trying to kind of move away from the mat and all sort of things, because it's all about focusing, right? You got to focus, and as I said that you have to focus and concentrate on what you're doing for you to kind of really understand the kind of transformation that goes through your body. So as you start practicing, you will start realizing that, right? I think that's what is important. I think each one of us have to be a little bit selfish about our own self when it comes to the practice, and when it comes to the mental and physical well-being of each one of you. So I think I would request you guys to kind of see how much of that you could allocate for yourself. I think in a 24-hour window, I'm sure definitely we can allocate an hour's time for ourselves to kind of ensure that we keep ourselves healthy, right? And also, I know I've seen that a lot of people saying to me, think that I've been a motivation and inspiration to some of you guys. I'm pretty much humbled. I'm very humbled to hear that a lot of people have been sharing that you've been inspired by me, and it's kind of really touching. At the same time, I know that I've seen that your responses with your heart, some likes, and thumbs up for me in terms of when you hear that I've been practicing and doing sort of things for the last 3 years. I'm really happy that if I'm inspired you, but at the same time, I don't want the inspiration to stay as emoticons on the group. I would really love if people really take me seriously to be an inspiration, and if this video can bring some life into you guys to kind of start the practice more seriously. You are not going to see any benefits by practicing for a few days or a few months. I think you need to practice for a long period of time to really see the benefit. I think I could see that, and I could see that only because I've been consistently practicing. Unless there is an emergency or any kind of unavoidable situation, I don't really try to skip my practice. So it's yoga. It become, like I would say, like how I eat 3 meals a day. Yoga is my appetizer before my breakfast, and I just keep that in that way. So that's how I follow yoga and practice. I'm trying so far. I think touchwood is all good. I hope to continue this for years to come. The reason why I mentioned the age is that I feel that I started yoga late at the age of 49, but I think it's better late than never, as is they. And when you're young, your body listens to you, but when you age, you have to listen to your body. If at all, if you have to control of the body, I think the only way to do is that we kind of adapt to this yoga, which I feel that it's going to be a great benefit as you age. And one last thing which I wanted to say is that one of the wonderful things about yoga is accepting yourself and your body just as you are today. This is the mindfulness about yoga. That is simply appreciating your body for the things that it can do right now in the present moment. So you don't have to worry about whether you are able to perform this particular asana, that particular asana. I think everybody should choose the asanas that suits your body. So you got to understand and appreciate your body pretty much. So thanks for your patience and listening to me. I wish you all a great health. Hari Om. Thank you.